Dr. J sat in his small office on the space station, looking at the glowing screen in front of him. The coffee in his cup had gone cold hours ago, but he did not notice. His eyes were fixed on the data from a planet called Sol 3. It was a beautiful world with blue oceans and green land. Perfect white clouds moved slowly across its surface. This should be easy work. Jay had classified hundreds of planets before. Most were dead rocks floating in space. Some had simple life like plants or small animals. Very few had smart beings living on them. Sol 3 was special because it had both life and a civilization that could travel in space. The first reports made Sol 3 sound like paradise. The planet had water, good air, and nice weather. Plants covered most of the land. The beings there had built cities and sent ships to their moon. They seemed peaceful and curious about the universe. By all the rules, this planet should get the highest safety rating. But something felt wrong. Jay picked up a data pad and read the report from Commander Bin. Bin was a tough soldier who had seen combat on 12 different worlds. Nothing scared him. But his report about Sol 3 was strange. It was short and cold, not like his usual detailed work. Mission complete, the report said. Species contacted successfully. Request immediate transfer to desk duty. No field assignments for the next year. That was it. No details. No descriptions. Just a request to never go back to space. Jay frowned and opened the next report. This one came from Na, the team's cultural expert. Na loved studying new civilizations. She usually wrote long, excited reports about the music, art, and customs of alien species. Her Sol 3 report was different. Cannot recommend cultural exchange program, it began. Local customs involve deliberate exposure to mortal danger for entertainment purposes. Psychological evaluation of entire species recommended. These beings may be suffering from planet-wide mental illness. The report had 17 separate incident files attached. Jay opened the first one. Day 3. Observed local humans engaging in activity called rock climbing. Individuals scaled vertical cliff face using only hands and feet. No safety equipment. No wings. No anti-gravity support. When asked about safety measures, human replied, "I brought chalk for better grip." Subject appeared mentally sound otherwise. Jay read the second incident report. Day 5. Witnessed humans throwing themselves from aircraft at high altitude. Expected to observe suicide ritual. Instead, humans deployed fabric parachutes and landed safely. They were laughing and paid money for this experience. Recommend immediate psychological study of species survival instincts. Each report grew more bizarre. Humans diving deep underwater without gills. Humans racing metal vehicles at deadly speeds for fun. Humans keeping dangerous predators as pets in their homes. The last report came from Yu, the team's xenobiologist. Yu was brilliant and careful. She had studied life forms across the galaxy for 20 years. Her report was just 2 lines. Biology impossible. Request immediate return to home world. Cannot process data. Jay set down the data pad and rubbed his eyes. He walked to the window and looked out at the stars. In 30 years of planetary classification, he had never seen reports like these. The survey team was made up of professionals. They were not easily shocked or confused. His communication device beeped. A message from his supervisor, Commander So, appeared on the screen. Status update on Sol 3 classification needed. Council meeting in 3 days. Simple garden world rating expected. Jay typed back slowly. Need more time. Unusual circumstances. The reply came quickly. Unusual how? Planet shows perfect conditions for garden world status. Jay stared at the message. How could he explain that the survey team had come back traumatized? How could he tell the council that a beautiful planet might be dangerous because of its own people? He decided to dig deeper into the data. The orbital scans showed everything normal. Good air, clean water, stable weather. The cities looked advanced but peaceful. The humans had sent friendly messages when first contacted. But something in those friendly messages bothered Jay. He pulled up the first transmission from Earth. Greetings, friends from the stars, the message began. We are excited to meet you. Earth is a wonderful place full of adventure and challenge. We would love to show you our world and learn about yours. We hope you enjoy extreme experiences as much as we do. Extreme experiences. Jay highlighted those words and ran them through the cultural database. In most civilizations, extreme experiences meant art, music, or food. But based on the survey reports, humans meant something very different. He opened the biological scans of the human species. At first glance they looked normal. 2 arms, 2 legs, standard organs. But as Jay studied the details, he found disturbing facts. Human blood contained cells that fought off diseases that would kill most galactic species instantly. Their digestive systems processed toxins for pleasure. Their bones were incredibly dense and strong, built to handle massive impacts. Most shocking of all, their brains produced chemicals that made them seek out danger and stress. What other species would avoid, humans were naturally drawn to experience. Jay leaned back in his chair. This was not a simple garden world. This was something the galaxy had never seen before. A beautiful planet that had created the most dangerous species in known space, and they did not even know it. He reached for his communication device to contact Commander So. This conversation would not be easy. Jay spent the next day reading every file about the humans. Each piece of information made less sense than the last. He started with their basic biology, thinking that would be simple to understand. It was not simple at all. Humans breathed oxygen, which was normal for many species. But Earth's air contained much more oxygen than most planets. This gas was so strong it could start fires and eat away at metal. Most aliens needed special suits to visit high-oxygen worlds. Humans not only lived in this dangerous air, they needed it to survive. Their bodies were even stranger. Jay found medical scans showing that humans regularly consumed ethyl alcohol. This chemical was used to clean equipment and kill germs on most worlds. It was poison. Yet humans drank it at social gatherings and called it fun. The survey team had recorded a conversation with a human about this habit. "You drink cleaning fluid?" Na had asked. "It's beer," the human replied. "Want to try some? Will it not damage your organs?" "Only if you drink too much. A little bit makes you feel happy and relaxed." Na's notes showed that she tested the liquid. It would have put her in a hospital. The human drank 3 containers of it and seemed perfectly fine. But the alcohol was just the beginning. Humans ate foods that contained bacteria. Not by accident but on purpose. They made special foods that were full of living germs and considered them healthy. Jay found a report about something called yogurt that made his skin crawl. It was milk that had been left to rot with living bacteria. Humans ate it every day and said it was good for them. The survey team had also recorded humans eating plants that caused pain. Peppers, they called them. These plants made their mouths burn and their eyes water. Instead of avoiding this pain, humans seemed to enjoy it. Some humans ate peppers so strong they had to drink milk to stop the burning. "Why do you eat things that hurt you?" you had asked a human. "It tastes good," the human said. "The heat wakes up your taste buds. But you are crying from the pain." "Yeah, but it's a good hurt." You had written in her notes, "Species appears to have confused pain signals with pleasure signals. Possible brain damage from toxic environment." The physical capabilities of humans were equally disturbing. They could run for hours without stopping. Their bones could heal from breaks that would cripple other species permanently. They could survive losing large amounts of blood, going days without water and weeks without food. But most frightening was their reaction to stress. While other intelligent species became weak and sick under pressure, humans became stronger and faster. Their bodies made special chemicals during dangerous situations that gave them incredible strength and speed. Jay found combat footage from their history. Human soldiers fighting in wars moved with impossible speed and endurance. They carried heavy equipment for miles, fought for days without sleep, and kept going even when badly injured. One video showed a human soldier continuing to fight after being shot 3 times. Instead of falling down or asking for help, the soldier became more aggressive. It was like the injury made him stronger and more dangerous. The psychological reports were even more troubling than the physical ones. Humans seemed to be addicted to danger. They created activities that served no purpose except to risk their lives. Min had recorded footage of something called extreme sports. Humans jumped off tall buildings with only elastic ropes tied to their legs. They rode down mountain paths on small wheeled boards at deadly speeds. They threw themselves out of aircraft for fun. "Do you not fear death?" Min had asked a skydiver. "Sure I do," the human replied. "That's what makes it exciting." "But why would you want to feel afraid?" "Because when you survive something scary, you feel amazing afterward. It's like proving you're alive." Min's psychological evaluation concluded that humans had developed a mental disorder that made them crave danger. But this disorder seemed to affect their entire species. Even their children played dangerous games. They climbed high trees, raced fast bicycles, and wrestled with each other until someone got hurt. Instead of learning to be more careful, they seemed to learn to take bigger risks as they grew older. The cultural expert Na had studied their entertainment. Human movies and books were full of stories about people facing terrible dangers. The heroes always chose the most dangerous path possible. Stories where everyone stayed safe and avoided risk were considered boring. Their entire culture celebrates danger, Na had written. They worship individuals who risk everything for others. Their greatest heroes are people who died doing brave but foolish things. Jay found records of human history filled with explorers who sailed into unknown oceans, climbed impossible mountains, and traveled to places where they might never return. They did not do these things because they had to. They did them because they wanted to. Even their language reflected this strange love of danger. Humans used words like thrill, rush, and adventure to describe experiences that would terrify most species. They had dozens of words for different types of fear and excitement. The final report came from a conversation between Commander Bin and a human military officer. The human had invited Bin to join something called a training exercise. What does this training involve? Bin had asked. We drop you in the wilderness with no food or water and see how long you can survive. This is punishment for criminals? No, it's fun. It teaches you what you're capable of when everything goes wrong. Bin's notes simply said, declined invitation. These beings have no concept of reasonable risk. Jay closed the last file and sat in silence. Everything he had read told the same story. Humans were not just adapted to their dangerous planet. They had become addicted to the danger itself. They were a species that fed on challenge, thrived on risk, and grew stronger under pressure. And they were beginning to look toward the stars with the same fearless curiosity that had made them masters of their impossible world. After reading about the humans themselves, Jay decided to study their planet more carefully. If the people were this strange, maybe their world was the reason why. What he found in the environmental data made him want to request a transfer to a desk job, just like Commander Bin. Earth was not the peaceful garden world it appeared to be from space. It was a planet that seemed designed to kill everything living on it. The weather alone should have made the planet uninhabitable. Jay pulled up the climate reports and could not believe what he was reading. Massive storms called hurricanes formed over the oceans regularly. These storms had winds that could tear apart buildings and waves tall enough to destroy entire cities. Any reasonable species would build their settlements far from these storm paths. Humans built cities right in the areas where hurricanes hit most often. When storms approached, they did not run away. They prepared by putting boards over their windows and gathering supplies. The survey team had arrived during something called hurricane season. Na had recorded a conversation with a local human about an approaching storm. Are you not evacuating? Na had asked. Nah, it's only a Category 2, the human replied. We'll just ride it out. Category 2 of what scale? Hurricane scale. It goes up to 5. Those ones are scary. Na's notes explained that Category 2 storms had winds fast enough to lift vehicles into the air. The fact that humans considered this not scary had deeply disturbed her. But hurricanes were not the only deadly weather. Earth also had tornadoes, which were spinning columns of air that moved across the land, destroying everything in their path. Some humans actually drove toward these tornadoes to study them up close. The survey team had met a group called Storm Chasers, who spent their free time following dangerous weather. They used ground vehicles to get as close as possible to tornadoes and took pictures. Why do you approach these deadly storms? You had asked. They're beautiful, one storm chaser replied. And the data we collect helps save lives. But you could die. Yeah, but look at this video I got last week. You had written in her report, species shows complete lack of survival instincts when faced with obvious environmental threats. The geological instability was even worse than the weather. Earth's surface was made of giant plates of rock that moved constantly. Where these plates met, the ground shook violently in earthquakes. Cracks would open in the earth, buildings would fall down, and sometimes whole sections of land would slide into the ocean. Humans built their biggest cities right on top of these dangerous plate boundaries. They knew earthquakes would happen, but they stayed anyway. They just built stronger buildings and hoped for the best. The survey team had visited a city called San Francisco, which sat directly on a major fault line. The humans there talked about earthquakes like they talked about rain. Big ones coming someday, a local human had told Min, could be tomorrow, could be in 100 years. Are you not afraid? Min asked. Sure, but what are you gonna do? Life goes on. Min had found earthquake preparation kits in human homes. Instead of moving somewhere safer, they just kept supplies ready and practiced hiding under tables. Even worse were the volcanoes. These were mountains that exploded regularly, shooting hot rock and poisonous gas into the air. The area around volcanoes should be empty of all life. Instead, humans built cities on the slopes of these deadly mountains because the soil was good for growing food. The survey team had visited a place called Hawaii, where humans lived on active volcanoes. They treated volcanic eruptions like natural fireworks shows. "Look at that lava flow," one human had said, pointing to melted rock moving down a mountainside. "Isn't it beautiful?" Ben had moved the survey team to a safe distance, but the humans stayed to watch and take pictures. The plant and animal life on Earth was equally dangerous. The survey team had cataloged thousands of species that could kill humans with poison, teeth, or claws. Any sensible civilization would have driven these creatures to extinction or at least avoided them completely. Humans did the opposite. They kept some of the most dangerous animals as pets in their homes. You had been shocked to find humans living with creatures called dogs. These animals had powerful jaws full of sharp teeth and could easily kill a human child. Instead of fearing them, human families let these predators sleep in beds with their young. "Are you not concerned for your offspring's safety?" you had asked a human parent. "Rex? He's harmless. He's great with kids. But he has the physical capability to cause severe injury. He would never hurt anyone. He's family." You had observed the animal playing gently with human children, but her report noted that the creature could switch to predator mode at any time. Even worse were the humans who kept cats. These were smaller predators with razor-sharp claws and lightning-fast reflexes. They were perfect killing machines, designed by evolution to hunt and kill other animals. Humans not only kept them as pets but seemed to worship them. They made videos of cats and shared them with other humans for entertainment. They bought special food for the cats and took them to doctors when they got sick. The ocean around Earth was full of creatures that could swallow humans whole, poison them with stings, or tear them apart with teeth. Instead of staying on land where it was safer, humans went into the water for fun. They swam in areas where sharks hunted. They dove deep underwater to look at coral reefs, even though they could not breathe water. Some humans went surfing, which meant standing on boards while riding waves in shark-filled water. The survey team had watched humans entering the ocean during feeding time for dangerous fish. When warned about the risks, the humans just laughed. "Shark attacks are really rare," they said. "You're more likely to be struck by lightning." This did not comfort the survey team, especially since humans also went outside during lightning storms. Jay finished reading the environmental reports and sat back in his chair. Earth was not just dangerous, it was actively trying to kill everything on it. The weather was violent, the ground was unstable, and deadly creatures lived everywhere. Any other species would have died out long ago or fled to a safer world. Humans had not just survived, they had made this nightmare planet their home and refused to be afraid of it. 3 days later, Jay stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Classification Council. The circular room held representatives from 50 different worlds. Each species looked different, but they all shared one thing: they had evolved on worlds that made sense. Worlds where dangerous things were avoided, not celebrated. Council Leader 1 sat at the center of the room. Her people came from a peaceful water world where the biggest danger was strong ocean currents. She had never seen a classification request like this one. "Dr. J," she began, "your preliminary report suggests we delay the Sol 3 classification. This is unusual for such an apparently hospitable world. Please present your findings." Jay activated the holographic display in the center of the room. Earth appeared, beautiful and blue, surrounded by white clouds. Several council members smiled at the peaceful sight. "Honorable Council," Jay began, "what you see is the most deceptive planet we have ever encountered. Sol 3 appears to be a perfect garden world. In reality, it has created the most dangerous species in our galaxy." Counselor AE from the desert world of Keth raised her hand. "Dangerous how? Our sensors show no advanced weapons technology." "They do not need advanced weapons," Jay replied. "They are the weapons." He changed the display to show biological data about humans. "The dominant species has evolved to thrive in conditions that would kill most of us. Watch this." The display showed footage from the survey team. A human was drinking something from a bottle. The chemical analysis appeared next to the image. "This human is consuming ethyl alcohol for pleasure. This substance is used as industrial cleaner on most worlds. It would cause organ failure in 90% of known species." Council members began whispering to each other. Counselor Rim from the ice world leaned forward. "Perhaps their biology is just different," she suggested. "There is more," Jay said. The display changed again. "They consume food filled with living bacteria. They eat plants that cause physical pain. Their bodies produce stress chemicals that make them stronger and faster when faced with danger." He showed the footage of humans rock climbing, skydiving, and surfing in shark-filled waters. "These are not survival activities," Jay explained. "These are recreational activities. They do these things for fun." The council chamber fell silent. Counselor Dal, whose people lived in the safe underground caves of Yaren, stood up slowly. Are you suggesting they have a mental disorder? He asked. Initially yes, Jay replied. But further study shows this is not a disorder. This is evolution. Their planet has shaped them to seek out and overcome danger. The display switched to Earth's environmental data. Images of hurricanes, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions filled the air. Sol 3 is a death world disguised as a garden world. The weather systems are violent and unpredictable. The ground constantly moves and shakes. The oceans are filled with predators. Then surely the humans avoid these dangers, said Counselor Hai. They do not, Jay continued. They build their largest cities in the most dangerous areas. They live on active volcanoes. They swim with predators. They chase deadly storms to take pictures. He showed images of human cities built on earthquake fault lines and hurricane coasts. The council members looked at each other with growing alarm. During our survey, Jay said, we discovered that humans keep apex predators in their homes as companions. They call them pets. The display showed humans playing with dogs and cats. To most council members, these looked like dangerous carnivores. The small ones have claws that can cause severe injury. The large ones have jaws powerful enough to crush bones. Yet humans allow these creatures to interact with their young. Counselor Lee, the military representative, stood up. What about their combat capabilities? Jay pulled up historical data from human wars. They fight even when severely injured. Pain seems to make them more aggressive, not less. They will continue fighting until they cannot physically move. The footage showed human soldiers carrying wounded comrades while under fire, never retreating or surrendering. Their entire culture celebrates individuals who face impossible dangers, Jay continued. Their heroes are people who died protecting others from threats. Their entertainment focuses on overcoming deadly challenges. Counselor 1 raised her hand for silence. Dr. J, you are asking us to classify a seemingly peaceful world as dangerous based on the behavior of its inhabitants. Yes, Jay replied firmly. Sol 3 has created a species so adapted to mortal danger that they cannot recognize it as such. They see deadly situations as opportunities for growth and entertainment. He changed the display one more time to show the message from Earth's space probe. This is their first communication to the galaxy, he said. They describe their world as full of adventure and challenge, and hope we enjoy extreme experiences like they do. The council members read the message in their own languages. The word, extreme, caused several uncomfortable shifts in their seats. What classification do you recommend? Asked one. Jay took a deep breath. I propose a new classification, adaptive death world. This planet appears hospitable but has forged a species so dangerous that they have mastered their impossible environment and now seek to explore space with the same fearless curiosity. You want us to create an entirely new category? Asked Counselor AE. The current system has no way to classify this type of world, Jay explained. A place where the environment has not killed its inhabitants, but instead made them stronger. Counselor Dal stood again. If they are so dangerous, should we not quarantine the system? That decision is above my authority, Jay replied. I can only recommend proper classification. One looked around the chamber. All in favor of creating the new classification, adaptive death world, for Sol 3? 47 hands raised immediately. After a moment of hesitation, the remaining 3 joined them. The motion passes unanimously, one announced. Sol 3 will be the first planet classified as an adaptive death world. All future contact with this system will require extreme caution protocols. As the council members filed out, many were already making plans to warn their home worlds about humanity. They had no idea that this was exactly the wrong approach to take with a species that thrived on challenges. The news of Earth's new classification spread through the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within days, every major civilization knew about the humans and their impossible world. The reaction was not what Jay had hoped for. Admiral Jean of the Galactic Defense Force called an emergency meeting. Representatives from 12 military organizations gathered in the secure conference room on Station Alpha 7. The holographic display showed Earth floating peacefully in space, but everyone in the room now knew better. We have a problem, Jean began. For the first time in galactic history, we have discovered a species that might be more dangerous than us. General Park from the Centauri Defense League shook his head. They are still primitive. No energy weapons, no faster-than-light travel. How dangerous can they be? Did you read the reports? Jean asked. These beings have turned survival into an art form. They eat poison for fun and swim with predators for entertainment. What happens when they develop real technology? The room fell silent. Everyone was thinking the same thing. A species that treated deadly danger as recreation would be unstoppable in actual warfare. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, civilian populations were having their own reactions to the news. On the peaceful farming world of New Eden, families gathered around their communication screens to hear the latest reports about Earth. The humans keep carnivorous beasts in their homes, the news reporter said. They allow these predators to interact with their children. Mrs. Han covered her young daughter's eyes. Do not look, sweetie. These are very sick people. But not everyone was afraid. On the mining world of Kepler 442, the tough workers who dug precious metals from dangerous deep tunnels had a different reaction. These humans sound pretty tough, said Foreman Bay to his crew. Maybe we could learn something from them. Are you crazy? Replied Worker Sue. They jump out of flying machines for fun. That is not tough, that is insane. The scientific community was split between fear and fascination. Dr. Kim at the Galactic Biology Institute wanted to study humans more closely. Her request for research funding was immediately denied. Too dangerous, her supervisor told her. What if they influence our researchers? What if exposure to their culture makes our people start taking unnecessary risks? Some worlds began preparing defenses against a human invasion that might never come. The peaceful water world of Aquatica started building weapons for the first time in 300 years. We must be ready, President Yoon announced to his people. These humans have been shaped by a world of constant violence. They may see peace as weakness. 3 weeks after the classification, Communications Officer Bo was monitoring deep space signals when her equipment detected something unusual. A transmission was coming from the direction of the Sol system. It was weak but clearly artificial. She called Admiral Jean immediately. Sir, we have a message from Earth. Jean arrived at the communications center within minutes, followed by several other high-ranking officers. They gathered around Bo's workstation as she played the transmission. The message began with mathematical sequences to show intelligence, then switched to audio. The voice was clearly human, soft, friendly, and completely innocent. Greetings to anyone who receives this message. We are the people of Earth, and we are sending this probe to explore the wonderful universe around us. We hope to meet new friends among the stars and share the beauty of our world with you. The transmission continued with descriptions of Earth's amazing diversity and exciting natural wonders. The humans talked about their planet's challenging weather and dynamic geology, like these were good things. We know space travel is dangerous and difficult, the human voice said, but we believe the rewards are worth any risk. We cannot wait to explore new worlds and meet new species. Perhaps we can even visit each other's planets someday. The message ended with coordinates to Earth and an invitation for anyone receiving the transmission to respond. The communications center was completely quiet when the message finished. Finally, Admiral Jean spoke. They want us to visit their death world, he said slowly. They think sharing their nightmare planet would be a gift to us. Should we respond? Asked Bo. Absolutely not, Jean replied quickly. We do not want to give them our location. General Park had gone pale. They said space travel is dangerous but worth the risk. To them, danger is not something to avoid. It is something to seek out. What if they achieve faster-than-light travel? Asked another officer. Jean thought about this question. A species that considered deadly challenges to be entertainment would not be stopped by the normal dangers of space exploration. Black holes, radiation storms, hostile aliens, humans would probably see these as exciting adventures. We need to warn every world in the galaxy, Jean decided. If humans develop interstellar travel, they will explore everywhere. They will not be stopped by hazards that would turn back any reasonable species. Over the following months, the human probe continued sending friendly messages as it drifted through space. Each transmission was monitored by dozens of civilizations, and each one made them more nervous. The humans talked about wanting to learn, to explore, to make friends. They sounded like children discovering a new playground. But everyone who received the messages now knew that these children had been raised by a world that ate the weak and made the strong into something terrifying. Dr. J received a final communication from Admiral Jean 6 months after the classification hearing. Your work may have saved the galaxy, Jean wrote. We now know what we are dealing with. The question is, what do we do when they come looking for us? Jay looked out at the stars and wondered if humanity would bring peace or chaos to the galaxy. Either way, he was certain of one thing: the universe would never be boring again. The humans were coming whether the galaxy was ready or not.